Alright, let's dive in. This is our main character, Jang Wu, a one-man coding machine. No team, no backup. He's designing an entire game all by himself, totally exhausted. He leans back in his chair, telling himself just 2 more months. Then he'd be done, and all this grinding would finally make him rich. Suddenly his phone buzzes, it's Ma Chun-chun. He picks up and she immediately demands to know. When is he going to pay the rent? He begs for a few more days, promising that his game is about to make him a ton of money, but Ma's heard this before. For 3 years actually, she reminds him only 10 people bought his previous game. Doomsday and the sales for P-Man were even worse, she was the only buyer. He replies sadly that it's simply because those players just have bad taste. She fires back that he's the one with terrible taste and gives him a final warning. Pay by tomorrow or get ready to be thrown out onto the street. He checks his account, just 558 RMB. The situation looks grim. But he figures if he just ignores her, she can't do much. He gets back to work. He decides to just code faster and get the game done. Then, suddenly, his computer dies and a flood of numbers fills the screen. Now pay attention, this is where things get wild. Messages are flashing, designing the monster's image, finalizing plots, adding new codes. Fixing bugs all on its own. He's completely confused, wondering what is happening. His own designs seem to be alive. Then a warning pops up, system overloaded. His entire computer case crashes to the floor, smoke billowing out. In total despair, he thinks his life is over, but a strange light is still glowing. It's coming from his monitor. An interface appears, announcing the release of something. A new fantasy world with the releasing platform set to Earth. The bar starts at 15%. It jumps to 30, then rockets to 100%. A blinding light erupts from the screen. He flinches back, trying to shield his eyes from the insane beam of light. And then his entire apartment starts to shake uncontrollably. An earthquake, he bolts for the door, throws it open, and sprints out of the building. Once outside, he freezes. Giant trees are erupting from the ground, crawling up the buildings. He wonders if this is all a dream, because those trees look strangely familiar. All around him, the crowd is in a full-blown panic, running in every direction. Someone points to the sky, screaming about some kind of unidentified flying monster. It's on a collision course with a helicopter. The impact is absolutely massive. The chopper explodes as both it and the monster plummet towards the ground. People scream and scatter from the falling debris. A little girl gets pushed over and falls. As she opens her eyes, she sees the monster right in front of her, hissing. He's stunned to see it because that monster, yeah, you guessed it, he's the one who designed it. It's a hippogriff with an eagle's upper body, a horse's hind quarters, and feathers. Feathers as hard as steel. Its danger level is C-class, and its special ability is the ripple scream. The hippogriff stands tall and lets out an angry shriek at the terrified people. He knows this is a terrible situation and starts running straight towards the monster. The creature opens its mouth, staring right at the little girl. She closes her eyes in fear. But fortunately, our protagonist grabs her just in time, dragging her away. Just as the hippogriff starts to use its ripple scream, he covers the little girl's ears. He knew he had to, but the raw power of the scream still hits him with a wave of pain. The ground shakes again, uncontrollably. The hippogriff stops when it hears something else running. As the hippogriff turns, it sees them, glowing red eyes charging straight at it. And you and I are jumping right into the chaos. It's another monster, enraged and moving fast, stabbing the hippogriff before it can even blink. Our hero sees this and instantly recognizes the creature. It's the monster known as the unicorn wolf. This thing is the overlord of the prairie, with a horn that's impossibly sharp and strong. Its danger level is a B-, and its main ability is a devastating lightning strike. He slowly closes his eyes, thinking at least he won't have to pay rent anymore, then passes out. Later, a beeping sound pulls him back, and he opens his eyes, shocked to find himself in a hospital. He sits up and sees her, the little girl he saved just a while ago. He starts to wonder, was any of that real? He grabs the remote from his bedside. He flicks on the TV, where a reporter named Li Ameng is on screen. She announces that the colossal trees now measure over 5,000 meters tall. They're broadcasting from the tree's midpoint when something suddenly flies right at them and attacks. The creature hits the reporter and the camera feed cuts to black. Now pay attention, in the next news segment, a reporter says professionals have already dived down 1,000 meters into that giant hole, and we're about to see what they've discovered. The camera locks onto those same glaring red eyes before it lunges, and the cameraman is attacked. The feed dies once again. On the next channel, another reporter is delivering an urgent message. It's an emergency broadcast. In response to this crisis, humanity is fighting back. They are begging all players to report their identities at the designated players' lobby. Players, he wonders why they'd need gamers, then remembers the monsters, the hippogriff, the unicorn wolf. The sky tree, the abyssal pit, why did all of it look exactly like the settings? From the brand new fantasy world game he was creating, suddenly a screen pops into view. Right in front of him, it shows his name is Jang Wu. And yeah, this is the moment everything changes. He's level 1, his profession, game designer / NPC. He has no title yet. His HP is 100, MP is 0, strength 9, and agility is 11. Intelligence is 12, perception 9, and he has 0 undistributed points. A note pops up. The average human has 10 attribute points. He starts to wonder, did the game he designed just invade Earth? He tries to open his inventory, but the interface gives him an error message. Apparently, NPCs like him are unable to use the storage or skill panels. He frantically clicks the other buttons, but the system hits him with another note. He's also unable to use the change profession system. He slumps back, feeling defeated. He thinks he's just a background character, a game designer with no real power in his own creation. Suddenly, the door creaks open. He immediately flops back into bed, pretending to be unconscious. A girl walks in, his landlord, Ma Chun Chun. She tells him to cut the act. She points out that the TV is still on. He awkwardly sits up, asking why she's even here. Ma just scoffs, asking if he thinks she actually wanted to come see him. She explains the hospital called her to come over. Wu tries to play nice. He says he knows she treats him the best, but she cuts him off. It's only because if he dies, she loses her rent money. Just then, the little girl wakes up. She looks at him for a second, a flicker of recognition in her eyes. Then she throws her arms around him in a huge hug, happily yelling "Dad," and saying he's finally awake. Ma is absolutely furious, screaming about him having a secret kid, but trust me, his panicked reaction is priceless. After he frantically explains the whole situation, Ma finally understands what happened. She figures the little girl must have lost her memory from the shock of the attack. She'll help register her as a lost child, but until her real parents come to get her. He's going to have to take care of the kid. Seeing his chance, he immediately asks Ma if sure she'd lower the rent. Ma snatched the receipt back with a furious look. But first, and you're not gonna believe this, she demands a medical fee of 8,000 RMB. He just stands there stunned. The price is absolutely insane after the disaster. Humanity tried fighting back, using nukes against the sky tree and the abyssal pit. But it was a massive failure. They lost control of the sky and gave up half of their entire territory. Now mankind's fate rests in the hands of the players. Half a year later, at Jang Wu's place, he watches a little girl struggle to lift a shield, offering it to him with a happy smile. "Dad," she says. He pats Mang Mang's hair, telling her she's a good girl. Mang Mang was just a temporary name Wu gave her. He'd tried to find her parents online using that name, and while he got replies, they were all from people wanting to adopt her or straight-up scammers. One guy claimed to be her uncle, saying her parents died in an accident. Wu demanded to know her real names, but the man just shot back, asking if her name wasn't Mang Mang. He then claimed that thanks to Jang's report, the city caught a huge group of child kidnappers. 6 months passed. Mang's memory is still a blur, and her parents have never shown up. Luckily, Mang was a good kid who always tried to help out, even if she usually ended up breaking something by mistake. This drove Ma crazy, and she charged Wu for every single repair fee. 1,000 RMB for the TV, and another 3,000 RMB for house repairs. Wu once thought about sending Mang to an orphanage, but she cried, calling him Dad, and he couldn't do it. He just tells her they're going home. Now let's see how this world actually works. The new fantasy world had 2 major monster zones, the underground and the wilderness. Underground monsters were ridiculously strong, the wilderness ones a little bit weaker. Wu arrives at a prairie near S City and puts his shovel on the ground. Then he starts digging, He doesn't stop until he hits a hidden monster. The creature leaps into the air to attack, but Wu blocks it with his shield. He grips his shovel tight and slams it into the monster with everything he has. The strike is so powerful it shatters the creature's horn. A system window pops up. He killed a jackalope, but since he's an NPC, he gets 0 experience points. After finally finishing the jackalope hunt quest, a new notification appears. He's killed over 10,000 horned jackalopes, earning him the title Bunny Slayer. He collapses, exhausted but relieved it's over, and honestly, I don't blame him one bit. See, as a game designer, Wu didn't just write plots for the players. He also created a ton of them for NPCs. That Bunny Slayer title was actually meant for a different NPC. The idea was, an ordinary NPC slaughters over 10,000 jackalopes, triggers a hidden storyline and becomes a hero. A hero who would fight alongside the players to take down the Demon King. But half a year ago, Wu found that specific NPC out on the prairie. And ever since, he's done everything he can to stop him from hunting jackalopes. But the NPC just kept slaughtering them. Wu warned him, telling him not to blame him for what happened next. He set traps all over the prairie. He used other jackalopes as bait to wear him down, and even lured a fang boar there. The massive creature charged the NPC and sent him flying. This was all Wu's doing. Trust me, you're about to see the world's next great hero get completely rejected. Later, inside the S-City players' lobby, adventurers of every level were gathered. Suddenly, Wu barges in holding a dead bunny, and the entire crowd just stops and stares. As he passes, they all whisper about his title, Jackalope Slayer. They're all mocking his cowardice for just hunting the absolute lowest-level monsters. But Wu was annoyed, and not because he was a player. He was the game's designer, and he stopped at Lao Jiang's Spicy Rabbit Head shop. Lao Jiang, the owner, is known for his special dish, spicy rabbit heads. This item, once you eat it, boosts your movement speed by 5% for 5 minutes. He tells Lao that he finally managed to get the jackalope he was after. But Lao's business has been rough lately, so he just offers him some rabbit heads instead. Wu gratefully accepts the plate, totally oblivious to a girl watching his every move. Then the NPC Kyuya reveals herself, and he's shocked to see her in person. Now here's where it gets wild. He's thrilled that a key character has finally shown up. See, as the designer, he knows Kyuya isn't some ordinary NPC. She's one of the game's few gods. According to his own plot, after killing 10,000 jackalopes, she's supposed to appear. She should see his determination and bless him, turning him into a hero. He immediately calls her a goddess and begs her to give him the blessing already. But she just asks him why he killed all the rabbits. She thought they were adorable. He's completely confused. This was definitely not part of the plan. Kyuya is absolutely furious, labeling him the Bunny Slayer right on the spot. She grabs his hand, scolds him for the massacre, and then violently slams him to the ground. As she furiously kicks him over and over, even Lao, the shop owner, is too scared to intervene. Another player notices the chaos and immediately recognizes the goddess. They all start wondering if Wu harassed her or did something to provoke her. While getting absolutely thrashed, Wu is just baffled. Wasn't he supposed to become the hero? Had the game somehow altered itself while he was playing? Don't blink, because this is the moment everything changes. A notification suddenly pops up. It says that due to his massacre of jackalopes, he's been cursed by the goddess Kyuya. The curse has ostracized him from the world, stripped him of his humanity, and turned him into a demon. His interface opens and his character panel confirms his new race, Demon. His current HP is 35 out of 200, MP is 100 out of 100. Strength is 13, Agility 15, Stamina 14, Intelligence 12, Accuracy 13. And he has 0 undistributed points left. Wu is stunned, but honestly he's not entirely upset. A demon's base stats are higher than a hero's. He thinks the whole beatdown might have actually been worth it, so he tearfully looks up at her. He professes his love, but she just dismisses him as freaking trash. Then he looks up and spots something he was absolutely not supposed to see. So Kyuya kicks him again, hard, dropping his health down to 30. Later, after pulling himself together, Wu realizes that being a player unlocked new functions. He's pretty pleased since it's more convenient and he won't have to carry so many items. He opens his skill list and sees Demon Imitation at level 1. This skill can frighten weaker demons so much that they're frozen in place. It has a 60-minute cooldown and costs 20 MP to cast. But his other skill, Demon Transform, lets him become a demon, massively boosting all his stats. The duration was 30 seconds, cooldown was 24 hours, and it cost 0 MP. His new race also came with talents giving him insane agility and defense. He specialized in dual wielding and had incredible night vision, but a notification revealed a catch. Now pay attention, because this is where the whole server gets shaken up. He'd get a special profession-changing mission once he hit level 10, then the system asks him something. It's about to announce his new race to the world. Did he want to hide his name? Wu smashes that yes button, and an alert immediately blasts across S-City. An unknown player was cursed by the goddess, obtaining a rare race identity. This unlocked a hidden plot, and every other player saw it, their minds blown. They couldn't believe it, they all wanted to be cursed by a goddess too. They planned to congratulate the anonymous player, not knowing it was Wu standing right beside them. Some even started praying to the goddess right there, which Wu found hilarious. Meanwhile, you and I are about to see how the top brass reacts to this news. In the Player Management Association building, President Lei Qi of S-City sees the same notification. He immediately asks his secretary if anything major just happened in their city. The secretary reports that the city's Thunder Dragon Guild recently cleared a dungeon. A B-rank underground dungeon, to be specific. But she assures Lei that her sources confirm the guild never interacted with any goddess. And the other major guilds, Cloud Soar and Blue Goat, they haven't been active either. Li then asks about any strange events happening in the player lobby itself. His secretary, Bing Yun, mentions a player known for hunting jackalopes. Apparently, he angered an NPC and got a severe beatdown for it. When Li asks if it was a kid named Jang Wu, Bing Yun is shocked, asking if he's also watching him. Li just says he happens to know Wu's father, then gives Bing Yun a new mission. He tells her to find Wu when she has time, since Wu is known to be terrified of dungeons. Li suggests she recruit him for their backup team, and Bing Yun agrees. Back on the prairie, Wu is holding 2 shovels, eyeing a jackalope in its burrow. The creature suddenly springs from its hole and charges straight at him. As it gets close, he expertly swings his shovel down, thwack. He slams it flat onto the ground. A notification pops up. He'd slain the jackalope, earning 10 experience points. He was finally level 1. With 10 out of 100 experience, a wave of satisfaction washed over him. And yeah, you and I both know how good this must feel after being so weak. This time, however, he was itching to face them head-on. After his transformation into a demon, all his attributes had skyrocketed. The jackalope's movements now seemed to be in agonizing slow motion. He easily blocks an attack, smugly telling the creature it's way too slow. He could anticipate its every move, grabbing its ears with an ominous grin as it collapsed. The next notification confirms it. He's already leveled up to level 2. Staring at the defeated creature, he remembers his new racial abilities. Without hesitation, he activates his demon intimidation skill, shocking the other jackalopes. They literally faint from pure fear. He just walks over and finishes them off. He adds them to his inventory, leveling up again and again as days pass. He grinds on jackalopes until he finally hits level 6, but there's a problem. The higher his level got, the less EXP these weak monsters gave him. It was time for a new target. Alright, let's jump back in. Grinding jackalopes was officially a waste of time for our guy. It was time to hunt some higher-level monsters, now the original game design. Only gave players 1 stat point per level. In this world, warriors would always boost their strength, while assassins focused on accuracy. Mages, of course, leveled up their intelligence. Wu thought hard about his choice. Then he looks up, and a gigantic creature in the distance completely freezes him. It was the Jackalope King, a level 10 prairie boss with a horn as hard as steel. A D-rank creature, and trust me, you're gonna want to remember its special move, Bouncing Crash. Watching it devour a boar, Wu felt a real jolt of fear. The Jackalope King was the very first boss he ever designed for new players in this fantasy world. High HP, tough skin, and terrifying speed, it was a complete nightmare for any novice. The only real strategy for a rookie was to stand back and use a bow. Too bad all he had was a shovel, leaving him instantly regretting his own design. Deciding to go for agility, Wu dumps all 6 of his undistributed points. This bumps his stat up to 21. As a demon player, he was already physically way beyond your average newbie. So, for the pride of a demon, he resolved to challenge the Jackalope King. Except, he immediately chickens out saying he was just kidding and calls them all a bunch of stupid rabbits. Uh-oh. The Jackalope King roars. Wu just scoffs, asking if it actually thought he would fight for real, reminding it that he's completely outnumbered. That's when jackalopes pour out from their burrows, chasing him with their king in the lead. The king powers up its bouncing crash, lunging to impale him with its horn. He dodges just in time, narrowly avoiding a second attempt as well, then starts taunting the beast. He effortlessly evades every single strike, basically daring the king to land a hit. With his high agility, he's practically untouchable. Furious, the king changes tactics. It summons all the other jackalopes, ordering them to swarm him. Wu stops dead when he hears the noise, turning back to see a whole horde hot on his trail. Panicked, he starts shouting a warning to the other players in the area. He tells them the wild boss, the Galu King, has appeared and they need to run fast. But instead of fleeing, I know what you're thinking, they get hyped for the opportunity. They want that rare loot the king might drop, telling Wu they'll join the fight. But instead of helping him, they just get chased by the Jackalope Pack too. The players curse him out, but Wu just grins, saying he has to go make dinner. For his kid, he wishes them farewell, leaving them shocked by his insane speed. As they swear revenge, a few hours pass. Back at Ma's building, he opens his apartment door and is welcomed by a cute little girl named Mang. She rushes to give her father a huge, excited hug. He asks what she did today, and Mang says the landlady gave her a picture book. Ever since Jang Wu adopted Mang, the landlady Ma Chan has been visiting often. She helps take care of Mang, and also sternly warned him to be a proper father figure. As they greet each other cheerfully, both of their stomachs start to rumble with hunger. He assures Mang that he'll make dinner. Ever since becoming a father, he had learned how to make all sorts of fried rice, like egg and dried radish, ham fried rice, tomato fried rice, and pretty much anything else. However, when he opens the cabinet, it's completely bare. He checks the fridge, and you and I both know this feeling. The rice jar was empty too, and he realized they had run out of food. His daughter saw her dad's broken look and pulled on his shirt, cheerfully saying she wasn't hungry. But he knew the truths. For the past 6 months, all she'd eaten was mustard with rice or sugar with porridge. They even had to share a single loaf of bread. He apologized to Mang. His heart ached knowing she hadn't had a good life since he adopted her. He asked if she wanted fried chicken, and Mang's eyes lit up with a huge yes. But then her smile faded. She remembered something and told him that she didn't want it anymore. When Wu asked why, she explained that if they spent too much, he couldn't pay the rent for their home. Wu knew she was right. He still owed 3 months of rent and medical fees. But he promised her they could have a feast today, even with only 121 yuan left. And this right here is the moment he decides to change everything. He ordered a chicken set that cost 120 yuan. He knew what he had to do. In this post-disaster world, players were basically idols to everyone else. These people were either insanely strong or had mysterious healing powers. But most importantly, they were all rich, and as long as you were a player, you had access to the dungeons. He also knew a critical secret. Unlike the monsters outside, dungeon monsters drop valuable monster crystals. An E-level crystal was worth 500 yuan, and a D-level was 1,000. A single C-level monster crystal, a whopping 2,000 yuan. Becoming a player was his only shot at getting rich. Soon, a knock at the door. Their family meal set had arrived. Wu and Mang dug in, absolutely starving. Tears of pure joy streamed down their faces. Later that night, he tucked a sleeping Mang into bed, carefully pulling the blanket over her. He heard her mumble happily in her sleep about how delicious the French fries were. After that, he went to his computer and checked a forum. You see, Wu has a secret identity. The news was buzzing. The Jackalope King had appeared in the suburbs that afternoon. It caused a massive rabbit horde. 4 players were attacked and hospitalized. He breathed a sigh of relief. They were rescued in time, their lives were safe. He was glad the players with him hadn't died. If they had, the guilt would have destroyed him. The top posts on the forum, all his. After the disaster, Wu had been helping everyone he could this way. To the other players, Wu was practically a god, but sometimes things went wrong. Like the incident where 50 people entered a dungeon and only 2 came out. One of the survivors said their leader relied too much on the guide. He didn't adapt. Players started asking if the god's guide was even reliable. And he knew it was his single worst failure, a complete disaster. That failure created a brand new type of dungeon and a terrifying new boss. He understood it was because of the system's constant updates and new content. And that's the heavy truth you and I have to remember in this world. 99 wins, 1 mistake, and it's all over. After that, Wu quietly stopped uploading guides. The next day, he arrived at the prairie just outside of S City. He was painfully aware of how broke he was. He had to find a way to make money and fast. He declared out loud he could skip a meal, but not his daughter. He couldn't stand seeing Mang surveying nearby boars, so he came up with a plan. He was at level 6, but he had to hit level 10 before morning. So it was time to trigger his class change mission. First step, venture into the dungeon. His target, monster crystals, and he knew exactly which monsters to hunt. These fang boars were notoriously aggressive and always moved in packs. Plus, they didn't drop crystals, making them a complete waste of time for most players. But he knew something nobody else did, a secret he built into the game himself. Watch this, because here's the ultimate cheat code he put in during development. Normally, hunting the same monster over and over gives you less experience. But after killing 100 fang boars, a player's experience gain would double. With his trusty shovel, he smacked a level 3 fang boar cub. This grind was the key. Reaching level 10 fast all came down to this hunt. A notification pops up. He'd successfully killed a fang boar cub, earning him a quick 10 experience points. Fired up, he continues his hunting spree, feeling a rush of pride. Looking at the fallen boars, he feels good, until he sees a group of massive ones. And yeah, I think you and I both know what's about to happen next. He runs for his life. But the angry boars keep chasing him. Then a notification, his demon skill reset. He's forced to a dead stop. He slowly turns around, facing the pack. With a grin, he tells the boars it's his turn to attack now. He activates his demon imitation skill and leaps, causing them to collapse in pure fear. One by one, he finishes them off with his shovel, getting 50 experience points a pop. Just like that, he breezes past level 10, triggering his profession-changing mission. Opening the game interface, he sees the proof. A huge wave of relief washes over him. He'd finally reached level 10. It took half an hour longer than he planned, though. But he still had plenty of time. His demon race class change mission appeared. The objective, clear the demon wolf dungeon on the northern side of the sky tree. And he had just 60 minutes to do it. The demon wolf dungeon was an E-rank instance. It was designed for a team of 5 players who had already changed their class. Now, to clear this, you and I need to understand how dungeons work in this fantasy world. Basically, there are 2 types, underground dungeons and fixed underground dungeons. Fixed dungeons have set locations and actual physical gates. Easy enough. The monsters inside are trapped and can't escape. Once cleared, the dungeon reopens. On the other hand, random dungeons are a whole different problem. They're spatial cracks that can pop up anywhere, in the wilderness or even a city. If you don't clear them fast enough, the monsters inside can pour out and invade Earth. And once they are cleared, these random dungeons vanish forever. He realized the difficulty of this solo mission was basically hell mode. It almost felt like the system itself was specifically targeting him. After humanity launched nukes at the Skytree, it put up a circular defense shield. And this shield completely blocks all modern technology from getting near it. If a car drives too close to the Skytree, it just spontaneously bursts into flames. A fighter jet flies into the shield, it loses all power and just drops from the sky. No signals can get in or out, so horse-drawn carriages became the go-to transport. They're offered for free by the Management Association, just for players. Climbing into the carriage, you and I both know this is just the calm before the storm. He figures nature would probably do better without humans getting in the way. They finally arrive at their destination, and man, is he excited. Welcome to the Demon Wolf Dungeon. Trust me, if you've played any MMO, you know what's coming. Some players just stop leveling altogether to help other players grind. For a price, of course, they advertise themselves as a carry team, promising you all the crystals and gear you could want, as long as you can pay. He knows he's gotta clear this mission in an hour, so he thinks about hiring help. One player tells him they've got a slot open and asks if he's interested. But when he asks about the cost, well, the guy says it's 20,000 RMB per run, with a buy 5 get 1 free deal. The price is insane, he's out, hard pass. Then he spots that same group from before, and they've had a serious glow-up. Their levels are higher, and their gear looks way more expensive now. Then Chen Zhen, level 19, walks right toward him. You can just feel the panic as he opens his inventory. He absolutely cannot let them recognize him, not here, not now. Chen Zhen mentions their team has 4 people, and they just need 1 more to start. He looks up, face already covered by a mask, which makes Chen Zhen ask why. Quick thinking, he says he's a miner, a class that just digs for monster crystals. He explains that he doesn't really fight, he just follows the party. Shenzhen reassures him that it's no problem at all and he's welcome to join. He also lays out the loot rules. All equipment drops go to the 4 original members. But they'll split all the monster crystals they find equally with him. He's just relieved they haven't recognized him, and yeah, they completely bought his story. Besides, he figures their team's levels and gear are on par with those carry teams anyway. So this works out perfectly, he agrees to Chen Zhen's offer. Together, they swing open the massive dungeon gate and are met with pitch-black darkness. See, the Skytree jams all technology, so they have to use good old-fashioned torches. Holding their torches high, they venture into the deep. And as they go, he quietly activates his demon's eyes. Instantly, they all notice shining crystals embedded in the ground and walls. Kai-On, level 18, gets eager to grab them, but Chen Zhen holds him back. A wolf emerges from the shadows, its red eyes glaring at them with pure hatred. It's a level 12 armored demon wolf. These things are no joke. Chen Zhen yells for his team to get ready for battle while he draws its attention. One of the wolves lunges to attack, but an arrow flies out, striking it dead on. Perfect timing, hitting it just as Chen Zhen was closing in for the kill. A moment later, Chen Zhen takes the wolf's head clean off its shoulders. Another wolf pounces on Chen Zhen, but luckily Kenai unleashes her magic just in time. With both wolves dispatched, Chen Zhen tells the team to recover their energy. He then turns to Wu, warning him about the dangers that lie ahead. He suggests that our guy should probably just stay back here and do some mining. Then Chen Zhen's team proceeds deeper into the dungeon, leaving him behind. He thinks to himself that even with their fancy new equipment, it's impossible. There's no way they can clear this whole dungeon in less than an hour. He grabs his shovel because you and I know the truth, the boss is right here, right underneath him. A minute later, his shovel hits rock, he's in, he drops a rope and descends into the darkness. But the second his feet touch the floor, he gets a nasty welcome from a wolf. It lunges to attack, he barely dodges but not without a price. 10 points of damage from its razor-sharp claws, he looks back and sees it. The wolf crashed hard, he opens his inventory knowing it's time to get creative. He pulls out the dead jackalope and shows it to the wolf. And just like that, its savage look completely melts into a puppy dog stare. He tosses the bunny over, knowing exactly what's about to happen. See, armored demon wolves in dungeons are always starving, and they can't resist a jackalope. While it's distracted, he seizes his chance, stabbing the wolf again and again. Right in the belly, its only weak spot, a notification window flashes to life. He's killed an armored demon wolf, a nice reward pops up. 100 experience points, he's glad realizing this is a goldmine. He can gain experience and get a crystal, this is the perfect spot to level up. But suddenly he hears a sound coming from behind him, he whips around and sees it. A whole swarm of wolves is charging straight for him, time to go. He makes a mad dash for the rope, yelling that he completely forgot the jackalope scent. Would attract every demon wolf in the area, he scrambles up the rope, leaving them behind. Once he reaches the top, he tells them they can't follow him up here. But the wolves suddenly run off, making him wonder what scared them away. He peeks over the edge and sees them surrounding Chen Zhen's party. He feels genuinely bad for the 4 of them, but hey, he figures they can handle it. I mean, if they survive the Jackalope King, a few demon wolves should be no big deal. Zhang draws his bow and lets an arrow fly, nailing a wolf right in the eye. He yells at Chen Zhen, asking what's wrong with this dungeon and why it's so packed. But before Chen Zhen can even answer, the tables turn. The wolf Zhang just shot tackles him to the ground, sinking its teeth into his arm. Looking closer, he sees it. The wolf is in full-on berserk mode. But why? They haven't provoked them like this. Chen Zhen swings his sword to help. He roars at his team to snap out of it and focus on the fight. He calls out to Jin Yan Kang, ordering him to heal Zhang immediately. Yan Kang rushes to obey. Chen Zhen then turns to Kai Zenai. He orders her to start casting explosive fireballs at the wolf pack. Yan Kang wonders if they're just cursed. Not long ago they were in the hospital. All because of that jackalope king. Now they're just out and things are already going sideways. Zenai casts a massive fireball, launching it straight at the wolves. But they're too fast. They dodge the blast and leap forward to attack. Zenai tells Chen Zhen there are just too many of them, yelling that they have to retreat. Chen Zhen parries a wolf's attack and shouts for his group to pull back now. He tells them to cover Zenai while she casts, but before they can even move. A deafening growl echoes through the dungeon. They look up and their blood runs cold. A colossal wolf is glaring down at them, as the others close in, trapping them. Yan Kang whispers in total fear that they're completely doomed. Zhang asks if that's the gatekeeper from the second floor and why is it here. Meanwhile, you and I know our guy Wu is watching all of this, perfectly relaxed. As he digs into the ground, he's hyped. The boss's room is right beneath him. But he freezes when a loud growl echoes from the first floor. He figures the other four have good gear, they should be totally fine on their own. Still, he decides to take a quick look. The mission can wait. He can't let Chen Zhen's group die, not after he almost got them killed before. He quietly moves towards the noise and spots them instantly. Chen Zhen's party is completely surrounded by a pack of wolves. His plan is to lure the demon wolf leader away so they can handle the rest. But suddenly a brilliant red light erupts from the group, making him wonder what that is. And then we see it. Chen Zhen reveals a weapon shimmering with incredible power. It's the fire lizard's Madness Flame Dagger, a D-level artifact. This thing engulfs the wielder in flames, boosting defense, attack, and recovery by 50%. The effect lasts for 60 minutes, but it only works on players below level 20. This is an insanely rare item dropped by the underground dungeon boss. And here's the kicker, it's supposed to disappear after a single use. Zhang reminds him they spent half a year's savings on that thing. Yan Kang complains that everyone will mock them for using a D-level item in an E-level dungeon. But Chen Zhen just fires back, telling them to worry about surviving first. Watching from afar, Wu realizes they absolutely don't need his help. He knows that artifact could sell for at least 500,000 at auction. And yet they used it here just for this emergency. They're the first team ever to burn a D-level artifact in an E-level dungeon. Checking his mission timer, Wu sees he only has half an hour left. He needs to move and he needs to move now. A minute later, he's finished digging and carefully drops down into the passage. Landing in the demon wolf boss room, he sizes up his opponents. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with here. The first monster is a double-headed wolf named Thors, a level 20 elite. It's an E-level creature, known for its extreme cruelty and a special ability called Tear. The second creature is the boss himself, a half-beastman named Luca, level 25. He's rocking 2,000 HP and was once a chieftain before he was corrupted. Now he's the D-rank boss of this dungeon, and his weapon is a massive axe. Now, to make exploring this new fantasy world a little more exciting. Wu had secretly sprinkled a few checkpoints and Easter eggs throughout the game. One huge Easter egg in this dungeon lets players reach the boss room without any fighting. Normally, following the route just takes you to the front door of the boss room. But Wu, he dug a hole that leads directly inside. To avoid waking the boss, he opens his inventory. He combines a roasted pig with sleeping mushrooms and some potent sleeping pills. Add in some alcohol and he's cooked up a guaranteed knockout meal. Slowly, deliberately, he approaches the slumbering double-headed wolf with his creation. He places the meal right near the wolf's nose and then quickly backs away. Woken by the movement, the wolf is completely floored by the sight of the pig. One of its heads immediately chomps down on the meal, making the other head furious. As the two heads start bickering, Wu can only think one thing. Should he have brought 2 roasted pigs? Yeah, you and I both know this is about to get messy. He desperately hoped not to wake the boss, counting on the sleeping medicine to kick in. After a few tense minutes, the double-headed wolf finally keels over. The drugged-up roasted pig worked like a charm. Wu quietly approaches his next target. It's the half-beastman Luca, and you're gonna wanna pay attention to what he's holding. He might have less raw power than the wolf, but he's got a massive axe. And with it comes a deadly skill, the tornado dance slash. The weapon itself has an attack range of 35 to 50. Its special ability has a 30-minute cooldown. This is a top-tier item. In fact, it's a treasured heirloom of the Beastman tribe, only for their chieftain. But after turning corrupt, Luca stole the axe and fled the tribe. The weapon requires a user to be at least level 25. Wu creeps toward the axe, annoyed that he can't even use it yet. But just as he gets close, the boss stirs. Don't blink because this is where it all goes wrong. He snatches the axe and shoves it in his inventory just as the boss attacks. He dodges the punch, but the impact shrapnel still hits him for 20 HP. That attack was no joke. A direct hit would have taken out half his health bar. The boss lunges again. Wu dodges, then sprints away, yelling for a timeout. He needs to pop his buffs. He opens his inventory, scarfing down a spicy rabbit head. That boosts his speed by 5% for 5 minutes. Next, his title. He activates his Bunny Slayer skill, jacking his berserk strength by 10% for 10 minutes. Wielding 2 shovels, he turns to face the boss, declaring the chase is over. As the enraged boss storms towards him, a notification flashes on screen. Only 14 minutes remain to complete the mission. It's go time. Wu braces himself, getting ready to launch his own offensive. All while the double-headed wolf is sleeping peacefully off to the side. The monster throws a massive punch, but Wu expertly blocks it with his shovel. He twists the shovel, slashing back and dealing 15 points of damage. But he immediately realizes that damage is basically nothing, and I know what you're thinking. At this rate, he needs to land 200 more hits just to take this guy down. With a full party, this would be simple. A warrior could absorb the hits. Then the rest of the team could just wail on the boss without any risk. But right now, he's all alone, no time to play games with aggro. The beast rips a massive stone from the ground and hurls it straight at him. It's too fast. He takes the hit, losing another 60 points of damage. Leaning against the wall, he's shocked. The boss has a throwing skill now. The system definitely upgraded this monster. This isn't the boss he remembers. The creature then grabs the chain connected to the sleeping double-headed wolf. It stopped attacking him, then Luca starts slapping the wolf, trying to wake it up. Wu is stunned. He pulls up his menu, cursing the boss under his breath. What a total coward. He's fighting one-on-one and the boss calls for backup. Looking at his remaining stat points, he knows he can't let that wolf get up. But even dumping everything into strength wouldn't make a big enough difference. He has to survive this, so he decides to risk it all on one crazy gamble. He puts every single remaining stat point into agility. You and I are about to see him get fast. He charges the boss, moving quicker than any level 10 player has a right to. 2 shovel strikes land, 18 and 20 damage, and the beast roars in fury. It lunges with razor-sharp claws, but he deftly rolls into the air to dodge. In the process, he snuffs out the only torch, plunging the room into darkness. He lands and tells the panicked boss that was just a fake-out attack. And here's the genius part. His demon eyes give him a massive advantage in the dark. Confused and wary, the boss feels eyes on its back and immediately spins around. It just barely blocks his surprise attack. He's frustrated it could still sense him. He flips in the air, shouting that this fight is far from over. He slashes and stabs its neck, hitting a weak point for 130 damage. The beast's health drops to 1817 out of 2000, and it punches back. But he vanishes. As it looks around, a shovel comes flying out of the dark. He stabs its kneecap, another weak point, slowing the creature right down. Seizing the opening, he goes for its other weak spot, the eye, reducing its sight. 120 more damage. He steps back as the huge beast collapses. These stealth attacks are way more effective in the pitch black. He runs back in. But as he closes in, the creature grabs a heavy chain lying on the ground. It swings in a fit of rage, and you just know this next hit is gonna be brutal. The chain slams into his stomach, throwing him hard across the ground. 75 damage. That leaves him with a meager 100 out of 250 health. He painfully opens his inventory. Cursing in anger, he grabs his medicine just as the creature charges again. He bolts as the system warns him the monster is already adapting to the darkness. He drinks a mid-level healing potion, set to recover 100 HP in 10 seconds. Once the recovery is complete, he stops running and faces the beast, ready for round 2. He leaps forward, smashing his shovel right into its head with full force. Then he unleashes a flurry of hits, face, shoulder, hand, and chin until its health drops. Down to 650 out of 2,000, and that's when a new notification pops up. It says the boss, half-beastman Luca, has dropped to a third of its health. And I think we all know what that means. It's about to enter berserk mode. A few seconds later, a new warning confirms it. He's been locked on. The beast throws a punch. He can't dodge in time, so he tries to block. His shovel shatters on impact, and the fist connects, sending him flying. He slams hard into the wall, taking 100 points of critical damage. Badly injured, he knows that one more solid hit could be fatal. Suddenly, the monster is right on top of him, poised to deliver the killing blow. But he rolls aside just in the nick of time, scrambling to his feet. He starts to run, taunting his foe, yelling that he can go berserk too. Checking the notification, he sees he only has 4 minutes and 30 seconds left. And his own berserk skill will finally be ready in another 12 seconds. Activating his trump card, trust me, you're going to want to see this. He selects his demon race transformation skill as his body begins to change. All his stats get a temporary 20% boost for just 29 seconds. But during that time, his energy is overflowing with unimaginable power. He feels like in this demon form, he could probably take on a level 30 player solo. Even in its berserk state, Beastman Luca suddenly has a look of pure fear. Our hero has become a monster huge and terrifying. He picks up stones and hurls them. But Wu, he just walks calmly toward the chaos as a massive stone flies at him. Just before impact, he catches it, one-handed, and shatters it to pieces. He looks right at Beastman Luca and asks if it's ready for the beating of a lifetime. And get ready for this, Wu launches himself, closing the gap in an instant. He tells the beast to taste his serious punch, then slams it face and chin. The damage numbers pop 130-170. He knows this power is insane. But here's the catch, the clock is ticking, he's only got 30 seconds. If he can't finish Boss Luca in time, the tables will turn right back on him. He can't afford to give his enemy a single second to recover. Meanwhile, remember Chen Zhen's party. They're on the first floor, totally wiped out. Xiao Zhang is relieved they won, but Genzi warns her magic wand is about to shatter. Suddenly, a massive growl echoes through the dungeon, and Xiao Zhang starts to panic. He's freaking out, wondering what that sound was, but Genzi just figures. It's probably just a monster fight happening on the floor below them. Chen Zhen tells everyone to rest up but stay sharp. A minute later, they head for the boss room. But then a notification. Congratulations, you've cleared the Demon Wolf dungeon. It says they eliminated the boss, half-beastman Luca. Xiao Zhang is completely baffled. How did they clear the dungeon without even trying? Back in the boss room, Wu gets the notification, 3 level ups. The system congratulates him. He completed the demon profession change mission. He's exhausted but relieved. It's finally over. He opens his inventory to check out the boss drops. He spots something called a weird necklace, level effect and rarity, all unknown. But he can just tell it's a high-quality item. He's also stoked to see so many magic crystals. But then he finds a perfect quality blue crystal. And trust me, that's like hitting the lottery. See, crystals are ranked in 3 tiers, normal, pure, and perfect. A normal D-rank blue crystal is dim, pretty low-quality stuff. A pure D-rank is brighter, much better quality. But a perfect D-rank, it shines bright just like a precious gem. Knowing how much it's worth, he imagines taking Meng Meng out for a fancy meal. He pictures her happily saying she loves her dad the most, and it just warms his heart. Then he spots his broken shovel. He needs a real craftsman to make him a new weapon. A sturdy one this time, because he's actually gotten used to fighting with a shovel. He pulls out the necklace from his inventory, wondering why he can't appraise it. Was this item just added to the game? Suddenly he hears footsteps. They're getting closer to the room where the double-headed wolf is sleeping. Peacefully for now, the wolf stirs, getting ready to stand up. He knows the game's mechanics. Once that stone door opens, Thoris, the double-headed wolf, is going to wake up, and frustratingly, even a sleeping potion won't work now. Not under these conditions. He mutters a curse for whatever genius designer set up this system, but there's no time. He needs to get out of there fast. He has to escape before the wolf spots him. Swiftly, he leaps to a hanging rope. It's his exit plan, and yeah, he decides to let Chen Zhen's group handle Thoris. After all, he already took care of the main boss. Seconds later, the group arrives. They open the boss room door, completely puzzled. The boss is dead. But they never open the stone door. Genzi just remarks how strange it all is. But their surprise turned to shock when they found the dungeon's half-beast man, Luca, already dead on the floor. Xiao Zhang figures the two-headed wolf must be the one who did it. And right on cue, hearing its betrayal exposed, the wolf lunged. The party freaked out. This dungeon wasn't just strange, it was completely insane. But in the end, they managed to put down the double-headed wolf for good. Xiao Zhang admits to his team that this whole venture was a total loss. They lost a valuable artifact and only got a few E-rank magic crystals and junk in return. Not even a single decent weapon dropped from the boss. But then, a notification screen pops up right in front of them. Their clear time for the Demon Wolf dungeon, 58 minutes and 2 seconds, a new record. The system announces it's about to go global with the news. It asks if they want to hide their identities, and for a second they're just stunned. But Chen Zhen decides against it. No, they'll show everyone who they are. The system then asks if they want a cool squad name. Chen Zhen throws one out. Flame Lizard Squad. Moments later, the world hears the news. A global announcement congratulates Flame Lizard Squad. All 6 of their names broadcast for everyone to see. They broke the Demon Wolf dungeon record with a clear time of 58 minutes. And as a reward, each team member gets the title Wolf Hunter. Reading the announcement, other players are absolutely blown away. Now they knew the squad used artifacts, but 58 minutes. You and I both know that is just insane speed. Xiao Zhang tells Chen Zhen their newfound fame will get them into top-tier guilds for sure. The interface explains the Wolf Hunter title, a permanent 7% boost to attack power. The reward for clearing the dungeon in under an hour, not bad at all. That's when they spot Wu on the first floor, grabbing a drink of water. They assume he must have scored big time while he was digging around. But then they notice just a few crystals on the ground next to him. Xiao Zhang gets pissed, yelling at Wu for digging all this time and finding almost nothing. Wu tries to apologize, explaining all his shovels broke, but Xiao Zhang isn't having it. He just keeps complaining about their rotten luck and this useless digger. He says the few crystals they found won't even cover their potion costs. Xiao Zhang reminds Wu they let him leech a free title, so they're taking all the crystals. But just as they're about to leave him with nothing, Genai turns back. She tells him to wait and hands him a crystal, just like she promised. He thanks her, asks for her name and even her number. She introduces herself as Qi Genai and gives it to him, advising him to leave before the dungeon closes. He agrees. Outside, the waiting players are getting restless. Why hasn't the record-breaking squad come out yet? Then the gate slowly opens. The crowd erupts, swarming the team with cheers and guild invitations. People are trying to buy their dungeon secrets, begging for any intel they can get. They're even offering huge sums for any valuable items the team might have found. But our main character, he hates crowds. He slips away completely unnoticed. He finds a quiet alley, confident that no one will bother him here. He opens the game interface. A mission complete notification is waiting. The profession change mission. He can finally pick his class. He knows what he wants. Demon warriors, famous for their insane strength and defense. Trust me, everything is about to change. Hard as stone, making them nearly impossible to damage. Demon hunters, on the other hand, they're all about insane agility and attack, capable of turning every bit of speed into pure, terrifying damage. And finally, demon warlocks were famous for their immense soul power, a mastery of healing spells, and the ability to summon death spirits and skeletons. A top-tier warlock could single-handedly face down an entire army. Being the indecisive type, he struggled. Okay, let's break it down. Demon Warrior is the tank, simple. Demon Hunter is the glass cannon assassin, and the Demon Warlock is basically a necromancer. He really wished he could just pick all three, wondering if it was possible. But the system notification was clear, one profession only. That is, unless he got his hands on a hero certificate, which would unlock a second class. He had a feeling getting one of those would require begging the goddess for help. But yeah, not a chance. He decided against it for now, fearing she'd blast him on sight. So, he went with Demon Hunter, figuring it was the best fit for him, letting him dump all his agility into raw attack power. A flash of bright light surrounds him as a notification confirms his class change to Demon Hunter, and his stats have been reset. He's currently level 13 with 120 experience, needing 380 for the next level up. He also holds the titles of Rabbit Hunter and Wolf Hunter. His health is at 300, mana at 150, with strength and agility boosted to 28. Physique is at 14, wisdom at 12, sense at 13 with 3 extra points to spend. And check this out, he also gets a brand new skill called Hunt Mark. It lets the Demon Hunter tag a target, and for the entire duration of the mark, the hunter will always know the target's location. Deal double damage, and even see its weak points when attacking. This ability can only mark one enemy at a time, but get this. If you kill the marked target, the skill's cooldown resets instantly. Fail to kill it though, and you're looking at a full 24-hour cooldown. Activating the skill costs 50 mana. He was absolutely stoked, knowing this Hunt Mark skill was basically a cheat code for any one-on-one fight. Meanwhile, at the Player Association Management Center, Bingyan reports to Lake Hugh that the Goddess Martial Artist Guild got into a massive battle at the Skyline Tree's western battleground against a horde of dark elves. Tragically, 40 players died. The Goddess Martial Artist herself went missing, and the clan's co-leader was killed. Now you have to understand, the Goddess Martial Artist Guild is a unique profession. It's a battle-focused guild directly under the military's command. They don't mess around with dungeon raids. Their job is to fight monsters on the absolute front line. When Lake Hugh asks how many people know about this disaster, Bingyan assures him that to prevent total chaos and panic, they've kept the information completely locked down. But Lake Hugh's expression darkens when Bingyan tells him the higher-ups want them to send other asterisk player guilds to the front line to provide support. At the same time, on the outskirts of S-City, a man rides in a carriage passing through the Skytree Shield. The moment they cross the barrier, his phone starts blowing up non-stop. Pulling it out, he sees he's finally got a signal again, and a ton of angry messages from a woman named Ma. She's ripping into him for being a deadbeat. Guardian telling him that someone named Mang is sick and needs to be taken to the hospital. Alright, let's jump in. We're at S-City's Central Hospital where Ma is quietly peeling an apple. Beside her, a sickly man rests on the bed. Suddenly, Wu bursts through the door, frantic. He rushes in asking about Mang's condition, but Ma clutches the fruit knife. She shushes him, warning him that Mang just fell asleep, before questioning him. Where has he been for the past 2 days? She points out he didn't even notice Mang's burning high fever. Wu just says he was busy trying to earn some money. When she asks if he actually made anything, he lights up, telling her he did. He says with relief that he can finally pay for everything. The rent, the medical bills, the water leak, even the TV that Mang broke. Ma is skeptical. As his landlord for years, she tells him she's only ever seen him rack up losses, never actually making a single dime. So Wu pulls them out, perfect blue crystals from his inventory, telling her to sell them. He's sure it'll be enough. Ma asks if he went into the dungeons. But Wu just dodges the question, saying he wants to be a miner. Then, a knock. A nurse appears asking which one of them is Mang's family. Dr. Ju needs to speak with them. Both Wu and Ma answer at the exact same time. After a beat, a moment of stunned silence, Wu says he should be the one to go. A few minutes later, he's in Dr. Ju's office. The doctor's face is grim. He tells Wu to brace himself before handing over the diagnosis. Pay attention, because this changes everything. Wu stares at the paper, stunned. High levels of magic elements. It's magic element syndrome. Back in the day, cancer was the disease everyone feared. Now, in this new era, magic element syndrome has taken its place. Ever since the game invaded their world, the very air they breathe has changed, not just nitrogen and oxygen, but also a new particle known simply as the magic element. Most people are fine, but for some, their bodies absorb it straight from the air. That buildup of magic elements leads to a ton of nasty side effects. We're talking constant high fevers, sleeping all the time, no appetite, and eventually black dots appearing on the skin. Dr. Ju informs Wu that modern medicine can't cure it. The only thing they can do is try to manage the symptoms. But Mang's body has 10 times more magic elements than the average patient. The doctor fears that even their best efforts might not be enough. Devastated, Wu slumps onto a bench. He clutches the diagnosis, realizing it's already a miracle that Mang is even alive. But you and I both know he isn't going to surrender that easily. He makes a decision. He's going to raid the burial ground. There's a chance he can find Lasso's tears there. It's an S-rank item, a legendary cure-all named after the goddess of light and hope. Story goes her tears could heal any sickness known to man. And of course, an item of life like that could only be found in the burial ground, a place of death. The dungeon's difficulty is SE rank, that's absurdly high. It has a level restriction of 10 to 30, and it's single party only. That means no team. He'd have to clear the entire dungeon completely solo. Most players wouldn't stand a chance, but he knows he's not the same guy anymore. He's not that weakling who could only take down horned rabbits. He returns to Mang's room. Ma immediately asks him what the doctor said, her voice filled with concern. Is Mang okay? Wu lies. He says it's just a normal fever, but the doctor mentioned that the money isn't enough to cover the fees. And we know that's his excuse to live. A furious Ma fires back, reminding him they already paid $3,000 this morning. She demands to know if they blew through all that cash in less than a day. She softens, saying if money's that tight, the rent can wait until after Mang has recovered. Overwhelmed, Wu breaks down, thanking her for her kindness. But trust me, she's not all soft, replying that if it weren't for Mang, he'd be on the street. She gives him a swat on the back, telling him he's absolutely covered in dirt. She orders him not to touch her and to get cleaned up immediately. She'll take care of Mang for the night. And she's right, he's caked in dust and sand from digging all those holes back in the Demon Wolf dungeon, where he fought the boss. His whole body is battered, bruised, and filthy. Taking her advice, he agrees to take a bath first. Ma just patiently shoos him away. But in the shower, he realizes that since joining the demon race, his body has changed. And pay attention here, he's got this potent new urge to just destroy things. Even at level 13, his stats are already blasting past most level 20 players. With his Hunt Mark skill, he can solo a D-rank dungeon no problem. Still, he knows taking on a ranked dungeon alone will be tough. He needs to boost his overall combat power. After thinking it over, he steps back outside. S-City's Chang'an Street is a bustling hub where players buy and sell gear. As he walks down the crowded street, he hears a monster wailing from a cage. A vendor is trying to convince a woman that the pet he's selling is perfectly safe. He pushes a button, then tells the lady to do the same. The creature gets zapped with electricity, collapsing in its cage, twitching in pain. The seller then reassures her that on top of the electric collar, they've also removed all its fangs so it can't bite anyone. Satisfied, the lady agrees to buy it. He knows the world has changed, and you and I can see it plain as day, but human cruelty. That stayed exactly the same. A minute later, he arrives at the Magic Crystal Exchange store. Looking at the rates, he sees they've dropped. Other players are grumbling, but they know there's no other choice as more and more dungeons are getting raided every day. He opens his inventory and pulls out several crystals. The employee greets him, explaining the current prices: $455 for E-rank magic crystals and $965 for D-rank. He asks if Wu still wants to go through with the exchange. Wu pauses, then tells the employee he has one more. He pulls it out. He asks how much this one is worth. The employee's eyes go wide as he examines it carefully. He tells Wu it's a D-rank perfect magic crystal. Suddenly, a guy behind him scoffs that it's just a D-rank. Only good for crafting a D-rank weapon. The man says that just 6 months ago, a crystal like that would have been a hot item, with people lining up to buy it. The employee ignores him, offering $10,000. He asks Wu if that's okay. He agrees without hesitation. The employee thanks him for his business and promises the payment will be transferred immediately. After taxes, a grand total of $133,200 is deposited into his account. Later, he heads to Lao Cao's weapons store. He browses the selection, spotting a wind frost longsword for a cool $55,000 and a water crystal dagger priced at a whopping $95,000. He practically storms out of the shop. People mocked him for having no elite gear, but the reality was simple. He was broke. Then while walking down the street, he spots a pair of shining blades just lying there. He picks them up, instantly recognizing them as Baldur's cursed swords. Attack power of 1445, a B-rank weapon with no level restriction. It could deal bonus damage to death spirits, which is already a huge deal. And on top of that, it absorbs their souls to boost its attack power up to 20 stacks. Now for a normal human, wielding this sword drains 10% of their health. It was originally forged by Baldur, the god of light, from the branches of a parasitic tree. But after the gods betrayed him, his legendary weapon became forever cursed. Astounded by its insane stats, he turns and asks the seller for the price. The vendor casually quotes him $155,000. Our hero argues that the weapon isn't even suited for humans, questioning the insane price tag. But the seller couldn't care less, saying it's a B-rank weapon, take it or leave. Now here's where it gets interesting. He pulls a massive axe from his inventory. Then he calmly asks the seller if he would be open to a simple trade instead. The seller examines the axe and notes that it's only D-rank, but you can see the gears turning. He agrees to the trade, admitting he'd been trying to get rid of that sword for days. As our guy walks away, the seller starts laughing, thinking he just won the lottery. If only he knew what you and I know, that our main character isn't even human. The poor guy probably would have passed out cold right there on the spot. But no, he's convinced he just made a fortune, thinking the axe was the real prize. Later, our hero arrives at the hospital, finding both Mang and Ma sound asleep. He gently places a blanket over Ma and quietly heads to the nurse's station. He then requests to upgrade room 27 to a full VIP suite for them. With his new power secured, the first thing he does is take care of his family. And that's where we leave him, stronger, better equipped, and ready for anything. Trust me, things are about to get absolutely wild from here on out.